Hello everyone. The webinar will start in 5 minutes. Hello everyone. The webinar will start in 5 minutes. Good morning everyone. We will be starting with the webinar now. So this is our third webinar in the water initiative by Aman, and I will be starting with the topic water economics. So what is water economics? When we talk about economics, economics is anything when we talk about marketing, business, accounts, or when we talk in perspective of economical use. So when economics comes with water, a huge perspective and set of questions arises in mind that what is water economics and what is the part of water economics. So in water economics, there are several topics that need to be covered, and I have taken out the best topics that people need to be educated with, and people are not actually aware about most of the things in that, and like the people have less knowledge about them. So our first topic, and we will be starting with water economics part one, that is water marketing and banking. So water marketing and water banking is a completely different term, completely different approach towards understanding this phenomena, and it's like a completely different domain, water marketing and water banking. But how people link and how there is a similarity between water marketing and banking is the key thing which I will be telling you today. So let's start. What is water marketing? When we talk about just water marketing, and in a layman's language, or when we define it, so water marketing is the transfer or sale of water. Now, what is transfer or sale of water? When we talks about water in terms of money or in terms of advertisement, what is it? That how we are selling water, and water is a social right. It's a water rights. So actually, water marketing comprises of sale of water, transfer of water, or transfer of water rights from one user to another, or transfer of water from one domain, that is agriculture, to maybe urban water, or transfer of water from one region from to another region, from North China to South China, from North India to South India, from North America to South America. If we are transferring or if we are dealing with import and export of water, then that is also counted as a water marketing. So most exchange involves a transfer of the resource itself. Like when we are talking about water marketing, we will be transferring water. It is like understood. But transfer of the right to use the water is a completely different thing. When we think about how we are transferring the right to use the water, everyone has the right to use the water. Everyone has water rights. Everyone needs water to serve for survival. But how we are reallocating the rights? We can reallocate the supply. We can reallocate the demand. We can reallocate many things. But when we are reallocating the available water on a supply and demand basis, there are many things that come into aspects. That is financial, political, and environmental means of accommodating an increase in population. So, as the population increases, water usage increases. As the demand increases, there is more water stress areas because water is not increasing. As we have discussed in other webinars, that how water management or how water scarcity is affecting the nation. But when we talk about how water marketing has been affected by water scarcity, it's completely inversely proportional. Because as water scarcity increases, water marketing increases. It does not decreases. So as there is less water stress, there will be less water marketing. And if there is more water stress, there will be more water marketing. So if there is any region where there is a ample amount of water, fresh water is coming, maybe in the mountains, maybe in the some the place full of flora and fauna, and have plentiful of water, there the more water marketing is very difficult, because how you will exchange something which they already have. So if we keep in mind that anything that is being exchanged, or if water is exchanged with anything and with any of the reason, that counted as a water marketing. Now, the water marketing is just only focus with these five things: that how you position your product as a solution to a problem, how you turn consumers into a connoisseurs, how to offer convenience, how by positioning your product as a sign of wealth, it becomes desirable to people who are striving to reach the upper middle class or upper class, or focus on image, the biggest point. So the water marketing comes is like water marketing has came into like a solution for the worst. If we are already facing the worst, if we are already facing water scarcity, then water marketing acts as a boon to it, or is it acts as a it increases the water scarcity. It does not decreases the water scarcity. So there are many points and many things which we are going to talk in the webinar. So what is water marketing? Water marketing, I think, according to me, is the people have the habit that instead, when we are in a good place, when we are enjoying and when we are not having any problem, we don't find the opportunity in that. When everything is going according to our will, when everything is going according to us like how we want, we don't find the solution, we don't find the opportunity in that situation. We find the opportunity in the worst situations, we find the opportunity in problematic situations. So when I am saying that where we find the opportunity in problematic situation, what does that mean? That when we are facing anything severe, then only we will think that how to deal with that severity, and we will not find the solution, we will find the way out of economic use, the way out how we can earn from that use. So in the places where there is more water scarcity or more water stress is the place where water marketing is increasing, is booming like anything. So when I show you this data or this extract, that this completely shows that what I am talking about, that strong demand of water and lack of access to safe water is the potential consumer base for bottled water. So as the population is increasing, as India's population is increasing with such a huge amount of population, the huge amount of water supply and huge amount of safe water for drinking is needed. So India becomes the potential consumer base for bottled water. And when I am talking about potential base of water, then I would tell you the data that till date there are around 6,000 plus water bottle companies in India. So we have a lot of business, a lot of consumer base of bottled water in India. And this is a fact that this is the reality, that people find the opportunity in the worst. People find the opportunity when people need that thing. That's what an idea is. That's what an idea makes water marketing works at that level. So, increasing health concerns and education awareness and unavailability of clean drinking water have led to the growth of bottled water market in India. And as everyone knows in India and outside also, that major bottled water brands operating in India is Bisleri, Kinley, and Aquafina. And in all the rest of the world, it's Nestle. When we talk about Nestle, it's the company who has the most share of bottled water around the world and in India as well. And as you can see the data that one that India has the largest market share, like around 42% of just 1 liter bottles. So you can imagine that how much water demand is in India of the water bottles, of the water we are buying for it. That's the exchange. That's the exchange I was talking about. That anything that involves the transfer of resource itself. Because when we are having the resources, when we are using the tap water, then the government is transferring the usage of water, is giving you the usage of water. It is a public domain. But when that usage you are buying, and you are buying a water bottle from the market of some different brand, then you are taking that resource or transferring that resource to yourself by buying that water bottle. So what companies and what people and what market has done, that they, with the branding, with the focus on image perspective, they have increased this thing, that how you will be entitled to use the bottle water. Now, these stats tell you about that how market is expected to reach around 403 billion by the end of 2023, and it is just 160 billion. So you can imagine that there will be around 300% of change of how things will be that much in 2023 and we are in 2020, and how it is expanding. Like growth rate is phenomenal because the market is increasing, because the people demand of fresh water or safe water is increasing, and that's why this these things are coming. That actually the marketing strategies are simple. They just strategize in three things: the label on the bottle, wordplay on the front, and try to give you sense of safety. So when you see the water bottle, you just see that what's the branding. Okay, it's Bisleri or it's Kinley, so let's buy it. Or when we see that it's a mountain water, fresh water from valleys, then we buy a water bottle. But actually, it's just a marketing strategy. It's a part of water marketing, that how they are selling the water resources which we are entitled to use it, and which we are paying the tax for to the government as well. But after that, when we see and when we buy the water bottle, when we buy anything from the market related to water, we just become the part of that water marketing scheme. So, all over the world, people are changing the way they used to live. And people, instead of getting used to good things, people quite often get used to problematic situations and find a way for money in them. So, water marketing is being a child of socio-economic market. And there are drivers, indicators, which runs the water marketing. So, as India accounts for 18% of the world's population, and the per capita income of Indian has been increasing, has been shown a growth with 8.6%. And when we say the per capita income is been increasing, then we say the awareness is increasing. The capital, the economic demand is increasing. So there is a more base and more use of bottled water. So the why water bottles are having that much effect in the customers, that customers love getting free stuff, but getting useful free stuff looks quite cool and better. Whether you are hosting an event or looking for some great giveaway, water bottles make a lasting statement that will demonstrate your brand. So when we are in some social event, when we are in some weddings, when we are in some seminars, when we are in some events, we get water bottles. So which water bottle will be used? It will be a glass water bottle, it will be a bottled water from mountainous regions, this much quality, these all things have been looking. And that's how the promotion had, that's how marketing happens of water bottle. And the one thing that everybody needs and few people get enough for water. People who are truly ready to lead a healthy lifestyle are the perfect person to receive promotional water bottles. And people are buying water bottles. There are a huge demand. There are the water bottles of $1 to $100. Yeah, there are companies which are selling water in the price of gold, and the demand is there for that thing also. So when we talk about these companies, there is the strategy, that how people, how the companies, how the big companies are working in India and in abroad, and how they are selling and how they are marketing the use of water. So when we see Coca-Cola adopting hyperlocal strategy in bottled water. What is hyperlocal strategy? It's a strategy involving the launch of bottled water specific to a regional markets in India. That means that if you go in South India, there will be a different branding and different approach to sell the water. And when we are in North India, we will have a different approach to sell the water. So that's what is hyper local strategy. That's what makes market research come into action. So when we go in Mumbai, suppose a big metropolitan city, you will have different varieties of water, different more varieties of same brand under different tags. Now, what I'm saying under different tags that many water bottles have the Coca-Cola branding, are being manufactured by Coca-Cola. But when we see the branding, when we see the tag name, it has a different tag name. It has different branding. And because of different branding and tag name, the prices increases. There's a huge increase in prices. So when we see this, this still gives us a huge shock that if we are buying a water bottle from Coca-Cola branding and we are getting the same water bottle for 20 rupees, so with the same branding or with the same company logo, another water bottle will be of 50 rupees. That's what is hyper local strategy based on different regions. In Mumbai itself, you will find many Coca-Cola branding water bottles. Bisleri. Bisleri is a great brand in terms of water marketing. I will not say in quality because over the years Bisleri has been downgraded with the quality, and when we have any types of surveys and when we test the quality of Bisleri has the worst quality. And as an educator, it's my sole responsibility to tell the audience that Bisleri is not a good water bottle brand if you are looking for buying a water bottle outside. So Bisleri has the least quality in terms when we talk of drinking water, and they are just selling because of the brand name. Because branded water players face significant competition. They are facing from big brands, they're facing from small brands, but Bisleri has been the Indian brand in India from a long time and has degraded the quality of water it's selling, and it's the worst and cheapest quality. So actually water, if you are treating the water, if you are adding the minerals, if you are testing the quality for fit consumption, but when we drink the water and when we buy the water and we see that it's a cheap water bottle, 10 rupees, 15 rupees, or maybe 20 rupees, but when we see the quality of that water bottle, it's nothing as compared to higher brands. Because as the money is increasing, there are brands which sell 100 rupees water bottle or 200 or 300, and they are giving that quality. I will not say that they are very fit for consumption or they are very good in quality, but they are much better than Bisleri. So I think that if you are overlooking the facts behind buying the water bottle, and if you had to buy the water bottle, so Bisleri should be avoided because of the quality issues. Now these type of water cans can be seen everywhere, everywhere across India. When we see these water cans and we are seeing the branding on them, when we are seeing that they have been sealed, it's just a scam. It's just another scam or another image of how water marketing is taking place in the cities, in the small districts, in the villages, everywhere. Because when we see this, we just think about the migration happening, how the rate of foreign tourists is increasing, and how the people are coming in India, settling, and they have the mentality, we have the mentality living in India that we need a better water than a tap water, than the water uh, circulated by the government. So we after that we get entitled to buy the bottled water, or when we entitled when we are using the water on the daily basis, we look out for these type of water cans in the market. But actually it's also a very big scam. It's a just part of water marketing scheme, that what is happening in and across the world, that people look for the safe, people look for these type of water cans, these type of water companies who can deliver you the water at your home. And in USA Nestle see that the water delivery cans, the cans which are delivered at home have the greater requirement than the purchase in from the store. So that's the actual reality, that when we are looking when we settle in new area, the first thing that we see that we need water. We need good water, and where we cannot use a tap water. And then we look for cheaper options. And when we look for cheaper option, and when we look for any option, if we don't talk about in the economic perspective, if we look for any option, we need water. And that's where water marketing plays a role, that either you will be scammed, or either the person who is selling you is being scammed. Because when just imagine, when we compare the price of water bottle, a 5-liter Bisleri bottle costs you 75 rupees, and 20-liter Bisleri bottle costs you 90 rupees. So 4 time increase in volume is just cost you 15 rupees. So this is a very big thing, and the actual price of 20-liter can is just 50 rupees. So how they are creating that thing, how they are selling these type of water to the market, and people are buying it, and people actually has health problems, and it has been seen that there are acute health problems, and there are uh, your immune system dies by drinking these type of water over the time, because these affect you at the large scale, and these will be affecting you if you don't look after that. So when we see these type of water bottles, and people are selling these, they are just have go downs, water is coming, and they are transferring the water cans everywhere. There are three many things that is happening. It's the racket, that how they are processing these water bottles. They are just purchasing the jars, empty jars of 10 or rupees or 20 rupees, and there is no purification machinery. There is just the person who is putting the water, who is filling the water cans, and with the fake stickers, seal, holograms, and caps, they are just selling it. And a lot of illegal mafia has been recovered, has been found in the cities like Gurgaon, in Mumbai, and these have been raided by the police. But h- how you will find out on the streets, how you will find out the water you are getting, the sealed water bottle with the seal mark, is it having the same water? I don't think so. Because when we use a 20-liter can, when we use the big jars of water, if you don't use it for 4 days or 5 days, the water starts smelling, the water starts rotting like it's a food. It starts getting bacteria. And on the water bottle also, it's written that it's fit for consumption just for a few days. There's a use by date, although it is sealed. It's just the marketing strategy, that to sell the water, which is like, in the if you are using the water, if it is in tank, it has been there for 4 or 5 days. You don't empty the tanks just like that. But when we see the water bottles and we buy the water bottles in the market, the people just focuses on how things are happening and how they are running the water bottle, and there is a use by date and people buy it. It's also a marketing strategy, and the people buy it, people use it for 3 or 4 days, and people just throw the bottle or change the water bottle, and that's how the business runs. So growing water demand is the biggest thing that is happening between behind the water marketing, water corruption between them, scams that are happening. If we just talk about Gurgaon, a big metropolitan now, and having the huge Haiti hub, there 30,000 jars is the daily demand. And with for 30,000 jars, ideally there should be a 1,500 square yard. 30,000 jars, 50,000 cans demand in peak summers. That is the 50% of the total water supply, which is untreated. Like 50%, 25,000 cans every day. People are drinking untreated water just from the tap and they are paying for it. And the water marketing, that exchange of transfer is happening. And police have raided many places. If we just talk about Gurgaon, there were 300 cases that were found. And there were like ministers have told that there are 300 places, more than 800 persons have been found, and 50,000 bottles were recovered. But when we talk about just Delhi NCR, there are 3,000 places where these type of illegal water mafia is being done. And when we talk about India, there are more than 30,000 or maybe more in lakhs the water mafia is running. So this is all part of a water marketing. When there are 57,000 or 5700 brands, water registered brands, then there will be the scams. Who knows that which water brand is being registered under correct domain, have been treating the water, they have the treated water supplies? No, they don't have. They sell the waters in three types: natural mineral water or spring water or prepared water. But actually, natural mineral water should be the underground sources protected from pollution risk. If we say spring water, there should be underground spring that rises to the surface. And for prepared water, the water should be drawn from municipal water supplies. There should be the whole tax paying of that. But is it actually happening? It is not actually happening because of water marketing, how it is being placed in the customers and how it is being placed with the people. Now we have talked a lot about France. Whoa, then we have talked a lot about India. Now we talk about France, a big country, a big developed country, and it's like one of the biggest tourist attraction of the world. But when we talk about different big countries, and when we talk about different big cities also in India also, but when we are talking about the developed countries, big countries, we think about not just a water bottle, just a plain drinking water. No, there are flavored bottles, water bottles for drinking. There is sparkling water. There is spring water. So people actually focuses on, some people only drink flavored water. Some people only drink spring water. But when we are talking about France, France is the country with the per capita bottled water consumption. Like it is one of the highest when we see and when we talk about it. And you can see that this data completely shows that how France, Germany, Italy, Thailand, Mexico, these are the places with a lot of tourist attraction, where a lot of population growth and with a lot of economic growth. Because as the economic growth increases, people are tend to buy the water bottle. When we talk about India, in rural India, people are not entitled or people don't focus is on buying the water bottle. Actually, so there is a huge difference when we think that yes, these peoples or these things will affect the water marketing, but in rural India, the people are not actually buying water bottles. But in urban India, as the population increases and the population migrates in urban India, and as the education awareness happens, the people are like they need a safe water. They don't need a municipal water. But I have treated myself that, and I have checked it myself that many companies like Bisleri has less quality water than a tap water. Like I will prefer to drink a tap water instead of a Bisleri water. Tap water has less TDS, less optimal pH value, but not Bisleri water. Why? Because they have done their water marketing, they have done their water research, and they have taken the on hold on the demand and supply of the public need. and they are managing on that things. So now you can see that China, when we talk about China, China is a big economy and the country with the biggest population in the world. And you can see that how spring water, purified water, mineral water, sparkling water need has been increased over the years, and it will be increasing, and it's a huge demand. So bottled water is being increased, and that's how water marketing is happening. That how there is a transfer and exchange of water which was entitled and which had to be used for everyone. Now these brands, many of you have heard of these common brands and many of you have not heard of these brands. When we think about spring water or the water that has been taken from the subsurfaces, natural springs, so there is a huge price difference, there is a huge taste difference, and there is a huge quality difference in that. And when we talk about purified water, that is a tap water. When government is supplying the water to our taps, they are treating the water with the tertiary treatment, and that is fit for consumption. When the water is being sent to the homes, it is being treated and it is being allowed to just not use the utensils or just not use it for bathing purpose, but it has been certified everywhere around the world for drinking consumption. But people are not actually agrees to that fact that yes, the government supply will not be fit for consumption, but maybe it will be better. It is possible that it will be better for many water bottle companies, but because what the process they are following, what the process the water bottle companies are following is they take water from the municipal corporation, the corporation which you are paying the tax for. So they take the water from that corporation, they clean it more, they added the extra minerals to it, and then they sell it. But when we are taking the municipal water, it has the optimal TDS, it has the optimal taste, but it has not been branded, it has not been water marketed. That's why we are not buying it. But when we see the brands like Nestle, a smart water we see, and we just buy that water, that yeah, if it is written distilled water, it will be distilled water. If it is written that it's a purified water, it's the best water, then we will just buy it. But actually, it is not actually good because it has been affecting a lot of people all around the world when we are just buying the water bottles without the thinking that it will affect many things, as water bottle shares a huge percentage in plastic waste. And when government everywhere in the world, when government says that we are banning the plastic usage, we are banning the usage of poly bags and all that stuff. But have we ever thought that the government has said that we will be banning the plastic water bottle? No one says that because it accounts for huge revenue. The companies are working. If you see that there are 5,000 or 6,000 registered companies, water bottle companies, so how much huge revenue they will be generating? Now, just you see that there are around 20 brands in front of you, and all these 20 brands are of just one company, that is Nestle. These all 20 brands of water is under Nestle. All are selling the water from one place. There are flavored water, there is sparkling water, there is water from the glaciers or water from the rivers or mountains with different branding, with different price range. But at the end, it is from Nestle. So these are water marketing strategy. These are the market research that happens. Now, when we see that the plastic water bottle is clogging our landfills, is affecting the water oceans when the people throw the plastic water bottles. That is the whole another topic, and I will not be talking about that. We will be just talking about water marketing. That if company at least need a 3 liters or 2 liters of water to make every single water bottle. Dasani is a big company in California, and it uses around 2 liters of water to create one water bottle of 1 liter. And why I have given the example of Dasani, California, because the place where there is the water generation and there is the treatment plant of this company is actually facing a drought. It's a drought plague area. It has the water shortage already. And when we are using this water bottle, when the people are buying the water bottle from this biggest company, people are actually making the drought even more worse, making their area even more dry. Because if they can drink 1 liter of water from the government or from the government supplies or from the public domains, but no, people buy the branded water and they actually make the things more worse. Because there are luxury water bottles, there are premium water bottles, and all that thing is just the harsh reality. And the water marketing, because of public concerns and tap water quality, they just make it more worse. They just sell the water that people, yes, people will buy and people buys. So this is the huge thing that affects people. Now when we test the water bottles, actually, and when we think that okay, water marketing is good if it is affecting the economy and if it is giving the revenue, the point of this webinar is not to teach you just about water marketing. That's not an awareness. People know about water marketing if I am telling you that yeah, it's just selling of the water. But actually the point of the webinar is also that how the things affect our use, the how we affect the nature, how we affect the people, like how we are affecting the usage in a greater way just because we are using the bottled water. So if you consumed when we had the quality test that if 1,000 bottles are tested, then out of 1,000 bottles, that is 22% brands tested contained chemicals. They have the contaminated water. So when we are saying that they have contaminated water, we just say that why we are buying that water, why we are giving the revenue to just harm ourselves. Instead of that, we can use the tap water. And that's what the webinar tells you about, that water marketing is happening, but it's not happening for our good. It's happening for the revenue generation. Instead of that, we can just use the tap water, we can just use the boiled water, we can just make the water fit for consumption at our home, and we can drink that instead of buying the water bottles from outside and just paying the revenue, and we even don't know that is that water bottle is safe for consumption. Because if consumed over a long period of time, some of those contaminants would cause cancer or other health problems. And for people with weakened immune systems, it is more worse. I had this survey in the registration, and this is the data that how frequently you buy a mineral water bottle. 50% say rarely, and I doubt that thing, but some people, 21% say sometimes, 19.4% say never, and 9.7% say always. And when I am talking just about that 9.7% that always demand, that how that water will be affecting them, is a big concern for everyone. That how it will be affecting the people, those who are consuming on everyday basis. It will be affecting at a greater cause, and we are paying for it. But at the end, we are just being a con from the water marketing schemes and companies. So a whole lot of market research happens. There is economic perspective, there is a social perspective taken out, and there are many things that happens when we talk about water marketing. And then their research analysis has been done, and then the brand comes into action. Then the branding comes into action, taglines come into action, that how they are going to sell it. If they are saying that they are taking the waters from the mountains, but when you see that it has been distributed, created, and marketed in a city called Panipat, you don't have mountains in Panipat. Are you taking the water from the glaciers and coming down to Panipat just to clean it and just to pack it? No, these are just a scam. Because when you say that you're just utilizing and consuming water at that place, and then you're consuming it at that place, and then you're redistributing at that place, that's just a marketing strategy to sell that it came from glaciers. But when you say that it is full of minerals, and then you see it's a back note, and when you turn the bottle, they say that we have just added these two minerals, at calcium and something, and it's over, it's full of minerals. But no, it affects the health at a very large level. So this is a global water market. There's a market size, that how globally things have been increased over a long period of time, and how we have seen that how their demand has been increased over the long period of time. So when we see this, the market is going to reach around $350 billion by 2021, and 10% year on year growth. And that's true, that global per capita average bottled water expenditure will be in a growth stage at 2021, and the consumption of water bottle will be at the highest for Asia Pacific region, because of awareness that you should drink pure and clean water, but no one is making you aware about that the tap water you are drinking it's possible that it is also safe for drinking. So that's a very big thing, because when we talk about health awareness, there should be the first thing, that are you drinking the bottled water and is it safe for consumption, because you have been the part of a water marketing scheme and you just have been taking the water. Now these are the bottled water stats all around the world, that how in African countries, because of water shortage, there is such a huge amount of water usage. In the places where is a semi-arid or arid regions and dry regions, there is a huge amount of water. Per capita consumption increases. There are water premiumness, that how you want to buy the water bottles, how much water bottle, how highly the water bottle is placed, and what the quality it is. There is a water originality, that now there has been the marketing schemes. That water is imported from Singapore, what more water is imported from USA with the highest quality, and we in India we don't have that quality treatment, as they say. But the import and export it's just the marketing schemes. So market in 2017, volume of the market was 437.3 billion liters. The value of the market was $238.5 billion, and this amount is enough to create a whole city out of it. And it is enough to create the water treatment plant for a whole city. But and the growth of market can be seen, but this is because of our lack of awareness about what is water marketing happening in and around the world. Now, second thing, when we come and when we are talking about water marketing, second thing that comes into picture is RO, that is reverse osmosis system, the compact reverse osmosis system that is being used in the industries, in the big organizations, in for domestic use in home, and everyone is using RO. If I talk about myself, in my home also we had RO. But when we talk about RO, 4 liters of water is used to create just 1 liter of water. It is more worse. When you talk about bottled water, it may be 3 or 4 times. But when we talk about RO, it is more worse. It is just 4 times or more. And in sometimes, because the TDS cut, there is a TDS controller in RO, you just kill all the useful substances also, and you get just a water which is just of no use. You're just having the clean, clear sheet of water. Now, when we see the data stats, Indian water purifier market forecast and opportunities 2019, that India has the most dominated water purifier market. And as it has been marketed that there is high TDS, that is total dissolved solid level of water across majority of the state. If someone says that how the water will be of a state in India, Uttar Pradesh, or how the water will be in the state of Maharashtra, people just blindly say that the water will be poorer in Uttar Pradesh because of a poorer state and high growth. But actually, it's not completely correct, because the water I am getting at my home in my tap water has a TDS of 260, and TDS 260 is fit for consumption. But when I use that water and when it has been purified in RO, the TDS remains 15. The TDS remains 16, or maybe if we increase the TDS controller level, maybe we can take it to 50 or 60. But actually, TDS of 500 or less is fit for consumption, and it is 260 TDS. So it will be having maybe some harmful bacteria, but there will be many good bacteria in which RO just takes out that thing and waste a lot of amount of water. So now when we talk about many things, including RO and many aspects, that apart from individual sales, market players in India have recently inclined towards institutional sales through partnership with airlines or movie theaters and hotels. And there have been different brand names that have been tagged in different organizations. The domestic airlines are using specific quality of water and specific water bottles, and that's all the promotional scheme. Because when you buy a water bottle in a plane and you drink it and you feel that yeah, it's good quality, then you buy it in real life, and that's the marketing strategies that is happening. So in the earlier example, when we talked about France, from 1940s to 1950s, with the population growth of 60%, the water consumption grew, for bottled water consumption grew by 2,350%. That is 2350%. And that's huge. From 6 liter per person to 140 liter per person usage. In India, the water minerals flood city, fake water minerals, and flood cities market. Because when we say it's a mineral water, people is just like that, yeah, they have to buy this. But actually, there are many illegal plants of RO purification. 50% of the water has not been even regulated. And how to regulate it is another different perspective, and how to regulate is another different part of a policy making that we will be looking further. Now, water banking. The second thing that we should talk about, that is water banking. What is water banking? Why do we need it? Why it's happening? And what will happen by water banking? So, water banking is a approach used by many countries in the world, and it has not been recognized in India, but it is being used in India from a large time. Like, sorry. So, water banking has been used in India from a traditional perspective. Like when we talk that water banking started in India like 1,000 years back or 100 years back, there was water banking, but the people never recognized the usage of water banking. Now, when I'm talking about water banking after water marketing, it's two different approach, two different perspective, and totally two different things. What is the common thing between water banking and water marketing is that there is the people, there is the water demand and water supply, and there is the revenue generation. These three things are common between water banking and water marketing. And the most uncommon thing is that this is the opportunity that was the solution to the problem. This was not the opportunity to the solution for the money making. When we say money making, in the starting of the webinar, I told you that water marketing is the solution for the money making in the opportunity, worst opportunity. But when we talk about water banking is the opportunity for the solution of that problem. So it has the similarities in terms of many points, but it has one difference that is the major thing why we have put water banking in today's topic. So I don't know that you have seen these structures or not around the world, or specifically when we talk about California, where all this started and people got to know about what is water banking and how they're using it. These are the water banks, which you can see, and these water banks affect the large part of area, and it just is a boon for the places where you don't have say quality or very good quality of water around the year and there are water stresses. You can see these images. These are the images of water banks. So now, what is water banking? What is a water bank, and what is this process? So, a water bank is an intermediary that acquires or leases water from willing sellers and then holds, transfers, and exchanges water rights on behalf of willing buyers. So, there are many examples of water banks across the West. We cannot see many examples in India like these structures, but in the West, in America, and in Arizona, there are many examples when we talk about water banks. Water banks are the active in Yakima and Walla Walla areas in Africa. And there are state by trust water right programs of water banking. There are administrative process for water banking, and there are transfer of water rights from one use to another by the use of water banking. So, what is happening in water banking and how the people are using and approaching this? So, water banking started and emerged from Western Colorado as water planners works on concept to protect water and to face a long-term drought, increasing demand and uncertainties of changing climate. So what they have done, they have made these structures that will capture and store the water when we have immense supply. And over the year, when there is immense supply in the city, before the drought time, they just take the water and start storing water from around the places, around across the regions, across the cities, and they started linking all the rivers, all the local ponds, lakes, and the water bodies near to a place and storing water there, and storing water in sense of when there will be a drought and when there will be the increased demand, they will release that water in stages into the rivers back again, saving the environmental issues, and back into the irrigation places, back to the homes, and they just send the water back. So it's like a storage, it's like a bank for water. And because of this flexible water sharing reduces risk in dry times. So, simply put, water banking is voluntary. It's a market based tool that could facilitate water transactions between willing sellers and buyers, water right owners who are willing to free up some of their water in a particularly dry area. Now, what is this? What we are talking about that when the treatment applies, when there is the water treated in water treatment plants, there is never the whole water that has been used. There is always some amount of water that is being unused and that is sent into the rivers or lakes. So the contracts have been made from the sellers from the water treatment plants that they sell the water to the water bank, and the water bank stores the water from there, and they store the water till there is the dry times, and when there are dry times they just send that water back. So how does this whole thing works? This is also known, water banking is also known as water sharing, and it is one mechanism that could address the needs and concerns of agriculture, cities, and the environmental in advance of crisis. It can add predictability, certainty for users, and where there is river water, we can just take this water, store this water, and when there is drought in river or rivers are being dried, we can just send the water again to that rivers. So this is how water backing often works. That we just take the water, we just store it in the water banks, and there is a trust, there is a programs that manage that water banks, and these are the water which are being in the unused areas, in the lakes which have been filled, where there is less usage, and then that water is being stored, and when there is time, dry times, that water is sent to the irrigation purpose, homes, and wells to restore that and to maintain the integrity of the environment. Now for when we are talking about Colorado, and Colorado we are talking about because it's the place where this whole thing started. So what they have done, that from the Rocky Mountains, from the Colorado River, they took the water, they stored the water according to the supply, and then there was the water storage of that water. There was the water supply of the government. When there was uh, less usage of water, when we need actually the water, we send back the water to the water requirement places, or the places used for irrigation or domestic uses, and we just send the water. So that's how water banking works. And water banks were also developed to supply water for places that have no or less water in a low cost way. So there is the money involved in this. It's a bank where if you need water, you will be having the water, and that's all what we need. Instead of buying water bottles, we cannot irrigate a field by bottled water. We can just take it for drinking. We cannot just irrigate fields. But if the water is not fit for consumption, it will be harmful for our plants. It will be harmful for local use also. So this water banking is a huge concept that, in terms of, instead of water marketing, we should look over for water banking in and across the world, in India as well. Now, in the starting, I have told that India was having these type of water banks being used in like 100 years back, and there were evidence that people uses water banks. But now, because of less government pressure, and the water policies have not been evolved too much in India, there have no water banks suggestions. So, farmer in Satara district of Maharashtra had successfully linked the wells in his village and created a community water tank. So, what he has done, that all the wells he have connected the local rivers, and he started storing water. So, when there were dry areas, when in the summer there was no water, so from that water bank it has been circulated in all the wells so that people can use it. And when in the other season, when in the monsoons, the water will be back, it will fill, it will be used in the district, and the water banks will be filled. So it can be used. So no government has given any sort of money to this project, and no government has been looking into that. But this is a very big perspective of how we can use the water in a large zone and large areas in a greater way, and how we can make water banking a very good phenomena across the world, so that no one faces a drought ever. So now I will be ending the topic, today's topic, about water banking and water marketing, how it affects things, how it affects people, and what is the benefit. Because water banking has several advantages. First, it augments the natural process of water storage in the landscape. It helps the recharge aquifers during wet years. Water banking helps communities adjust to climate variability and uncertainty. And I would tell you that why I have linked water marketing and water banking, because water banking is being practiced by many water marketing companies. How they are practicing and how they will be practicing, I would be telling in the next webinar. But they are using water banks to just make revenue and sell that water, because there are areas in which water companies are located and they are dry areas. So what they do, they just collect water and they manufactured water from water and they sell it from money. So people are doing it. There are benefits also if the government makes it work. So in the Australian agriculture export, the water banking has given a huge boom. Water banking expertise and technology could also be valuable new export industry in its own rights. So there are many things that can be done by this. Water banking is a very critical and important thing that can be a next world changing phenomena when we talk about how we can bring water banking in India and in developing countries and help the regions where we face water drought. Now I'm open for questions. If you have any questions related to topic or related to any topic related to water resource, so please ask, and we'll be answering all the questions. If you have any questions, comment down below that whatever your queries is, and I will be answering any questions if you have any questions regarding to the topic. So there are no questions, I think, and I will be ending the webinar. And thank you everyone for watching the webinar. And I thank everyone who is the part of this webinar. And our sole purpose is just to take the water awareness to the people out there. And if you have any query, you can just comment down below, and you can just tell that any query regarding any topic related to water resource. And if you like this topic, please subscribe to this channel, so any further webinar, if it comes, you will get the benefit. And this is water economics part 1, and water economics part 2 will be coming next week. And in that we will be talking about many different topics in water economics. And everyone who wants certificate for this webinar and who has watched this webinar, you can just comment down below your email ID, and you will be getting a feedback link. Anyone who has watched this webinar or was a part of webinar, and you can just comment down your email address in the comment section. And you can, after this webinar ends, you can comment that after that also. And this is an open initiative. This is a free initiative for everyone who will be the part of this journey. And certification is not a problem. My only will is to take this awareness about water resources all across the world, by just people want to learn and people will learn and people needs to know the new topics. And our sole initiative is that only, that people learn about new things. Thanks all for watching, and everyone will be getting the feedback link. So please do watch this webinar again if you have any points left. And I will be coming with another webinar in the next week. Thank you, everyone.